With just 10 days to go until the start of the season, we should probably update our drafts. Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name's Adam, and as always, I'm joined by Baker. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Long time no speak, mate.
Has been a while.
It's every day, basically, now. It's busy.
Mate, this is busy. Life's busy. Everything's going on. Yeah, next week is going to be pretty mad as we get sort of closer to the start of the season. Looking forward to it.
You're making the, how many miles? 500 miles trip?
Yeah, I would walk 500 miles. Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
It's exactly it's about 500 mile. Is it 500 miles? Is it a trip on Friday?
Yeah. So, well, no. We'll get down to like Birmingham and then stay overnight and then do the last like 3 hours. We're going to go a bit further than we would normally go, just to try and push it a little bit, because I just don't like the drive in the morning, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like I've done most of the effort and then it's like, oh, I've still got like 5 hours to go if I'm driving down from like Preston or something like that. So
nice.
But yeah, long way.
Yeah, long way. Busy. Life gets in the way. Some holidays, all the stuff, la 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 la. But even this, right, is fascinating for us. So we're just going to try and do a quick video just on our drafts. But before we did this, it was like, right, I'll show you mine and you show me yours. That's how we'll work. Because we don't really, if people don't think about it, we don't share a lot of drafts and do that stuff. We're chatting all the time on here. That's enough for us, but I do find it fascinating. It's just how different we all are. So I'm like, hey, this is my latest draft stuff. I come to you and you're like, I've made another draft since then.
No, I mean, I've been just chilling, just listening to people, right? Just listening and chatting. And it's, people are talking about good players, bad players. What do people think of this? What do people think of that? Ultimately, it's all going to feed in, but I don't feel the need to have 400 screenshots on my phone and stuff like that. Like
I love the screenshots.
I'm just not that guy, right? I just never have been. I will be more impulsive as I get closer to the... I mean, mate, you know as well as I do, and this is even without alcohol, my final decisions will be made while stood in the bar at Vauxhall. That's how it will work.
Those 0% Guinness or 0% lagers, they'll sort you right out.
They'll sort me right out, exactly. And that's where we are. As you say, we're very different. People who are new may not know that, but people who have been around the block and listening to us for a while will know exactly this is kind of the way I play the game. And as much as like the new information, I keep taking in the information about the models, and I understand how it all works and in some respects, but I also can't be bothered to go through all the different iterations that even it solves a lot for you, but there's still iterations you have to make. There's adjustments you have to do. You have to look at minutes. Do I agree with the team strengths? What's changed? Is there injuries and all this sort of stuff? Like, that's the sort of mini and manual inputs that at the moment I still can't be bothered with, because I just enjoy the game for the game. And so things like, there are money leagues around. And if I'm in a money league, then I just don't play in them really, because I end up with people that are just better than me at the game. So.
But we all know that season will come when it all hits.
Well, that's it. One day I'll be like ranked 5th in the world and everyone will go, what are you doing? I have no idea, mate. I'll pick on Saturday. It's fine.
Yeah, and really annoy all of them.
So many people. That's the plan.
But look, as the coin trade for this year. So last year was my team, my emotion. This year, thanks to our good friend JC, who's coined you as loose and aggressive in your place.
Loose and aggressive. This is where we're going.
This is where we're going. So before we look at drafts, RobT posted his updated projections. So let's have a little look at that. So it's updated goal involvement projections, RobT, part of Solio Analytics, launching today, I think.
Or yesterday.
8 o'clock, I think.
Yesterday when you see this.
Yeah, because this will be our Wednesday, actually, and next week. Scrambling around to try and record stuff. But I think there's some really interesting things in here in terms of goal involvement. It's important to look at the total involvement, and then it's also important to just do that bit of where is it goals versus assists and try and play through, what are we seeing from here? And my first take on it when I looked at it was like, I want to go to that first column and find the cheapest guy I can in column one, and they should be in my team. I don't know if that's just the crudest way on earth, but I looked at it and was like, and if, especially if they've got good fixtures. And I'm really up and down on Morgan Rogers and whether he makes my game week one team. But I look at this and go, 16 projected goal involvements, 9 goals, 7 assists, roughly, 7 million quid. That seems unbelievable value.
Yeah, the middle of that distribution says basically it's a goal every other game, right? Or a goal involvement every other game, which is quite a
Goal
lot.
involvement every game.
Which is a lot.
Crap
And if you
load.
can and then just contextualizing that with the fact that like Asensio's gone and Rashford's gone and
And the minutes.
the minutes are just going to be there. He's just going to have huge
'Cause
amount of minutes.
I'm betting there's almost a slight assumption to an extent that these players will have relatively good minutes. You know, they've got to protect themselves against those. The fact that these guys could just play every game. So when Rodgers is just sitting there at 16, and I look at him and think, is he worth 500,000 more than Ndiaye, for example? Ndiaye, who's down like on the third column, halfway down here at 10.9. I'm like, yeah. Is he Welbeck, like similar type prices of those cheap guys of where I might want those guys? I'm like, it's really good value. And there's quite a few really good value guys in that middle around £7 million that I guess I'm probably not spending a huge amount of time looking at. Alanga's on here, Semenyo's on here, Johnson, Cliver, Neto, Sarr, all in this
even
sort of 13 to 16.
and Strand Larson as well, just sticking up there.
Strand Larson does stick out.
I think he's had there's a bit of a, similar to Solanke here. And I guess, I mean, I asked the question when this table came out of Rob, and maybe he's read it, maybe he just doesn't have the data, maybe he doesn't want to respond, whatever it is. But my immediate question, because of obviously all the turmoil that's happened over the weekend with Spurs, is like, cool, so Solanke's 18.1 goal involvements, like, how has that been impacted by the events that we've seen over the weekend with Son and Maddison? So we obviously knew that Kulusevski was out for a period of time, but then just taking Son and Maddison out of the frame completely. We mentioned on the pod with Ted, it's like 65 goal involvements in the last year, something like that. Like, if you take that out of Tottenham, we basically get relegated. No, is that not?
It's that old game. Do you know when they used to do those season things and they say, if Erling Haaland hadn't played for Man City last season, if we take away all his goals, Man City have been relegated. You're like, but somebody would have played. And what does that mean? And that's, I guess, the question is, all those other guys, there'll be other players that play. We won't play with 9 men all season. And is how much does the team lose goals and how much does Dom lose goals? Because
what I meant. I mean, like, his share will go. Yeah. The thing is, it's the balance, right? Because if we lost,
share will go up. 100%.
Yeah, exactly. His share goes up. So if we lose, say, 5 goals, but his share goes up by from 50 to 70, I mean, then arbitrary numbers, obviously, then it obviously just balance itself out.
Yeah.
So there's obviously still some confidence in Solanke. I mean, I think 14 was about where he was last year, which he didn't get to.
There's one guy that's not on here that hasn't been priced up yet because they don't know where he's going to be, but that's Eze. I'd be really interested to know where he would sit in this. If Eze's there, potentially, obviously, that might take Mateta down because I'm assuming, maybe pen share and all that stuff, and how does it work? But Eze is one that I'm still really looking forward to see. I'd love him to just commit that he was going to stay at Palace, and then I'd really want to see where he sits alongside the likes of Gordon on here as a 7.5. Gordon's higher than thing, so he's somebody we'll come back to. I don't think we'll be in season one, game week one of our teams, but he is one where it's almost like you're not looking at Newcastle full stop right now.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's definitely. I was like, okay, this probably ticks me up a little bit on Rodgers, because not only do we know that, we know his minutes are just really unbelievably secure. Arias, by the way, on the third column, the one thing with him is he could also be the pen taker for Wolves. If he is the pen taker for Wolves, I suspect this is almost priced at the moment that Strand Larson is going to be the pen taker and not Arias. But if that changes, he's a 5.5 midfielder.
Didn't all the YouTube clips come out of him taking free kicks as well?
Yeah. He looks a ball. He's got a great goal there. It was a short cameo the other night, but he's just a 5.5 to watch if you want to get a bit excited on here. So,
That's
how
a
you
good
feeling?
start. I mean, I want all the good ones, right? I want all the good ones. It's so difficult. Like you'll see in my draft, you'll see in my draft, and spoiler alert, it doesn't have Bruno Fernandes in it. And I think I released a short that we did, but the video came from before we actually recorded, funnily enough. And I was talking about it, saying I just feel like United might start well, and Bruno's going to get the minutes, and I don't want to take pre-season too much into account, but he's been on everything and he's looked great.
He can't be a bad pick. Like, I just don't think. I know people are going to talk about whether he goes deep and does that stuff. Even when he goes deep, like he was deep the other night, or if he goes at night, sometimes he'll play false nine, sometimes he'll play in the 10. He'll play each of those. But regardless of where he plays, at some point he ends up in the right spots because that's what he does. Like, I just don't see a world in which Bruno's a bad pick. Similar to Bowen, you look at these and just say, look, these are just sitting there in the top half of that far left column as being people that are just good picks, really safe.
Yeah, it's just trying to work out where the drop-offs are, though, because if you, I'm talking, if you want Bruno, then you almost need to go down to a 6-5 up front, because otherwise you've got nothing at the back. Like, you literally got nothing at the back. Or you don't have Palmer. So it's kind of, you've really got to sacrifice either Palmer or Fernandes. Otherwise, you're going down to, say, a 6-5 up front instead of a 7-5. And the 7-5s up there are, they're Solanke, Pedro, and Wissa. Wissa's not even on here, by the way, as well, just for context, because we don't know where he's going to play. That's the difficult bit. That's the difficult bit for me. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is Thiago's not on here because we don't know what's going to happen with Wissa. So Palmer, I just look at this and be like, and I thought the guy who was on the wire with Zoff yesterday was brilliant, really good, worth listening to from a Chelsea perspective. He made a few really good points, so I don't want to steal them all, but they definitely made me a bit dubious around Sanchez, and it definitely made me quite a bit more bullish on Palmer, I would say, going through that video. But it's definitely worth go watch it.
Yeah, I'm still in the back of my mind thinking, I think we only really brought it up with John, was around the volume of Palmer's minutes and his performance in the league as a result of the additional minutes that he had to play. Because obviously he took off like a train when he had no minutes outside of the Premier League. And then as soon as we got to Europe, he scored one non-pen goal since like January or something like that in the league, which pay 10.5 million, then you need more than that, right?
But all I want is that first 3 game weeks. Just get me going.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. Yeah. It is really first 3, first 7, well, it depends on when you're playing your wildcard, I guess.
You can still got transfers, mate. Like, when we look at these game week 1 teams, it's still like a case of you can always move them.
Yeah, but I mean, with Palmer, you choose to go with him or you go without him. And I think if you go without him, then you need 2 transfers to get to him because you need to move someone out to create money, right?
Yeah.
So it's a case of almost like he's, I think I said it in the first draft, price point for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So before we move on to discussions around wildcard, game week 1 teams as well, we do need to first of all say, come and join our mini league. The code is 1WTCH2. I deliberately haven't looked at how many people have joined yet, but there were 5,500 people in last year. Good league to win. Biarca, he's got a coaster and he's got a mug and some coasters. He's happy. He's happy that he's joined the family, and we can't be happier to have him in, to be honest. And he's a worthy winner up there with the likes of Jamie Piggott, who may or may not know, but he actually won the whole damn thing. What you have to do is you have to be in by game week 19. That's the rule. We'll keep saying that until game week 19, and then this code will disappear. It will change, and you can't get in. Simple as that. If you want to support us, you can do so by hitting the like button and subscribing for more content. Baker said, we're doing a lot of recording at the moment. And we'd love to see you more often, especially when we come to do the live streams. These last couple have been recorded, but generally, live streams on Sundays and Thursdays. And so it's always good to see people in the chat. If you want to chat with us more often, you can come over to Patreon, patreon.com/above average FPL. QR code is on the screen, and you can come and join us in the Discord, where we are playing a number of games with additional prizes in mini leagues, including Beat Baker, where you can win a bottle of Never Say Die bourbon, which has been confirmed for the year. They've agreed to support us again for the year, and so thank you very much to Never Say Die for that. Yeah, a fantastic partnership we've got going on with him.
They've sent me the whiskey. I just now have to not drink all of the whiskey for the entire season. I've got the whiskey for the entire season sitting here. Bottle a month.
Can you imagine if Baker has like 23 points in that first game week?
Oh.
Sorry, lads, only 11 and a half bottles left. But yeah, come and join the chat.
Are you saying I'm like, that kind of drinker?
So you can come and join us in the Discord.
High and mighty now. You don't drink. You got
like 100 days off it now, pretty much.
Gone red. Look at that. So it was embarrassed me. Look at
that. You're a disgrace. No, it's all good, man. It's all good. Yeah. So yeah, then other games as well. Last Man Standing, FPL Blackjack. We've got drafts going on. For a few of the leagues as well, you've got to be in the Patreon in the Discord before the start of the season as well. Right now, we've got 25% off the annual membership. So go check that out. And Baker's also doing free stuff on there as well when we get the chance to. Shout out to Crypto Block Dan. Dan is our friend. We support Dan. He supports us. And if you need someone in the blockchain or Web3 space and you need some advice or you need an angel investor, he is the guy you need to go to. You can grab some of his time over at hubble.social/Dan Hybel. He's been in the game for, what am I saying now, 13 years more than. And he's worked, he's been invested in crypto. He's worked with NFTs. He's been working with gaming companies. He now runs his own game. He is well versed and well experienced in this field. So if you do need any advice, as I say, hubble.social/Dan Hybel. And we are trying to get him down to Fest as well. So hopefully we'll see him there. Hopefully we'll see you there, Dan. Hopefully, just let us know. And then we can move on to something that you surprised me with about 10 minutes before we started recording. You're like, mate, I've got this idea for a wildcard bench boost.
Yes, I have got an idea for a wildcard bench. And this is almost a fallback option. It's something that I've been thinking about. So I'm definitely mindful if in game week 1, I don't want to spend a lot of money on players that I might want to bench boost with. So I'm looking at, we saw earlier in the week, Dubravka getting linked to Burnley. Looks like that's happening. And therefore potentially is the number 1 there. And we've got, how do we say we're going to pronounce it? Guiu going from Chelsea to Sunderland. So he's a 4.5 striker. We've got loads of 4.0 defenders. Everyone's got old Steve from Burnley, Rodon, all those guys. And I think I'm going to have 3 promoted players in my squad. I think I'm going to have Guiu. I think I'm going to have a 4.0 from one of those promoted teams, and probably Dubravka. That's my plan for game week 1. I'm not expecting to bench boost in game week 1 because certainly for Burnley's perspective, they're away to Tottenham. I don't want to do that. I am open to game week 2, albeit there's relative limitations to that, is that we don't know the minutes. We don't know if Dubravka will get straight in because they've signed another keeper as well. We don't know if Guiu's going to get the minutes. We don't know a huge amount. But if somehow it looks like we do know all the right stuff, I could play it in game week 2. But if not, I'm looking at potentially game week 8 for bench boost. Now, that might be with the guys that I've already got and not wildcarding, because again, Guiu, Dubravka, let's say it's good old Steve from Burnley. If I've got those 3, I won't be making transfers with those 3, but those 3 just happen to magically, we end up with a position where Guiu's playing every game and Steve and Dubravka are playing every game and they look not horrendous, then I don't need to wildcard in 7. But bench boost 8, Burnley are home to Leeds, Sunderland are home to Wolves. They're pretty good fixtures. If you're looking at how can I use some cheapos to play, that is an option for it. So it's like a slight double bluff where it's I'll pick them. I could do it in game week 2. I could not wildcard in game week 7 and just play it in game week 8, or if I look like I'm going to wildcard in game week 7, which I think there's a very strong chance I might do that, that's where I've been planning to go to. Is if I can't make my whole way to game week 13, which was my early plan, which I knew was never ever going to happen. Game week 7 is probably where I end up doing that wild card. It's very easy for me to get who's the keeper. That is there a 4.0 keeper, because you never know. Kinski might be starting by then, home to
Yeah.
Villa in game week 8, or Darlow somehow is starting, but Dubravka's not. Well, I've got that option. I've got all these options where I can pick somebody that I've got an idea is going to play in game week 7 and do it the old school way, bench boost straight after, with some good fixtures for those 3 promoted teams. That's my feeling at the moment, is I'm not going to stress about bench boost, because one of the things I started getting with draft is looking at it and being like, oh yeah, but how do I now fit it so I do like it, so it's okay for bench boost, and I'm not sure, and messing around with it, and I'm like, why am I wasting all this time thinking about these guys that are going to play once for me and I never want to see them again, when actually I want to spend less time thinking about them, and more time thinking about what's the game week 1 team that I really want.
So, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. And that's kind of why I haven't really even been looking at anything other than a bench boost 1 or a bench boost 2. Because, like, if you want to talk about my real bench last year in the bench boost, I had 3 points, 2 points, something like that. I think I had 3 1s and a -1 or something. Something stupid like that, right? So this bench boost is guaranteed to be in a single game week, 100%. You just need to pick the right fixture for you, make it work, and then forget about it. So, bench boost 1 and bench boost 2 for me keeps the least amount of money off the pitch, and there are some reasonable fixtures in there to work with. So, there is promoted sides playing against each other, and it's Burnley versus Sunderland in game week 2. Yeah, so Burnley versus Sunderland is a really good one, because one thing that, speaking to Ted again earlier and speaking to John, and you listen from Andy Martin, Leeds' defence is really, really good. It's really good. And it's one that a lot of people believe will transfer relatively well to the Premier League teams. So when they're playing a promoted a team that they came across in the Championship last season, it's probably a good thing for them. And I'm not picking out this fixture specifically, but just because it's on the screen here, Burnley, they've signed a couple of keepers, but they've also just lost a significant piece of armour in their defence in James Trafford. So I much prefer the Burnley Sunderland one. And as Burnley Burnley went up as second in the league, I'm almost contradicting myself immediately, but I'm saying them being at home in that game week 2 fixture against Sunderland is good for me.
But the problem is if you want a 4.5 striker, you've got to pick the guy that's playing against Burnley. So if you have Burnley defence and then you have Sunderland attack, you can only win once.
Yeah, it's true.
So therefore, you've got to then go, well, actually, do I then spend a bit more on that striker? I've got to spend a bit more on this guy. Like, I mean, it's impossible to basically, and it's impossible, like, if, for example, you want to do it in game week 2, it's impossible to, if you went on Guiu, like, you're just not going to know his minutes in game week 2.
No.
So I have seen people saying, what I'm going to do is forgo the keeper. Like, I'm going to spend a bit more on the striker and just not worry if there's not a 4.0 keeper. I actually feel like I'd probably do the other way around. I'd probably get the keeper and just get Guiu anyway, because I think he'll play some minutes. So at worst, you might just get 1 point from him.
Yeah.
And if he's playing Burnley and you've got, say, double Burnley defence, well, you want him to get 1 point then.
Yeah, true.
So I mean, like, it's hedging though, mate. Game week 2 is hedging if you do Guiu and
Burnley.
No,
don't say stuff like that, because then I'll get all sorts of put off by that.
Hedging.
It's true.
This is an option. It's a way in which you've got 2 promoted teams. Like, by game week 8, you'll know whether Burnley's the team to target or Leeds the team to target. You'll have a good idea. At the moment, we're guessing. We're educated guessing, definitely. But we're still guessing. By then, you'll know whether Guiu is trustworthy for minutes, and you'll know, hey, is Burnley v Leeds at home? Is it a good fixture for Burnley, or is it a good fixture for Leeds, or is it a dire fixture full stop? And in that case, what you might do is just get a load of them on your bench for that. But there's some good options here, guys as well. Like for example, Richards and Gahey for Palace, home to Bournemouth. They're guys where you're like, I just wouldn't be bothered if I just own them all the time. Spurs, we know Spurs have got some cheap ones, and they're home to Villa, West Ham, home to Brentford. So they do have the Wan-Bissakas of this world. What I'm saying is, you won't worry about carrying these guys around. They're the guys you're already thinking about as your cheap enablers. I don't think it's a bad fallback option just in case you need it.
Yeah. I think I'll end up doing. I think what will end up happening for me, I think I'll end up just bench boosting in game week 1 and just trying to make it work as best as possible, and then just forgetting the chip until the second half of the season. I think that's probably where I'll end up. And I haven't fully committed to that yet. My draft, as it stands, isn't fit for that really, but it's we'll see. I mean, I could have you and see. So should we have a look at the drafts?
Yeah.
Let's do that. We'll start with me then. Why not? So right now, I still have Kelleher in goal. Still think they're just going to get a lot of shots, and they've still got that Sunderland game in game week 2. And I still think, not spending more than 4 or 5 on a keeper is probably
he's the standout, didn't you? From a 4.5 keeper perspective, Kelleher's probably the only one that I think I'd go with.
Yeah, I don't. It's not to say that I really trust him, but I just it makes making this team what it was pretty difficult in itself anyway. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Kelleher in goal to start with. Sort of going backwards and forwards, kind of like ping pong, I guess, for Frimpong versus Virgil. But I think speaking to Ted and the positive nature of how Liverpool will attack and bring madness and chaos and just the options that Frimpong gives, I think it's worth a punt to start with. So
if people are watching this now and they've not watched the video with Ted, Frimpong, I've not been curious about Frimpong. I've just been like VVDs the whole way. I watched the friendly the other night. I was Frimpong curious. I'm also, the bit of extra information we now got is Bradley's struggling even for the Charity Shield, Community Shield, I think call it now. And then you hear the way that he talked about Frimpong, and I'm like, wow. And it's you've put these down the right hand side, haven't you, for a reason? There's no chance that you'd let Frimpong be on the wrong side of this graphic. You want it bang down my right. You're ready for the screenshot of the massive points on the Friday night.
Together, yeah, both together. There's 30 points there together. Frimpong at the back. Everyone's favourite new Doof is playing centre back in my team apparently, but very, very attacking fullback from West Ham.
4 fullbacks, I've just noticed.
Yeah, no centre backs. Well, one centre back.
Sexy.
Steve.
You're so sexy.
Like, screw the defensive contributions. Who cares? That's not fun. Defensive contributions are boring. Attacking contributions are fun. So Diouf and then Pedro Porro makes my 3 at the back. Midfield of Salah, captain, Palmer, Anderson, Rodgers, and Marmoush. This is the sacrifice piece. So Bruno had to become Marmoush in this to make it work. So I didn't really want to go from Rodgers to anybody cheaper, really, just because of the way that.
Every time I do that, do you not do that? Every time I come off Rodgers and go to the cheaper, I'm like, oh, Villa love Rodgers.
Villa have like 3 or 4 attackers, and that's it. And one of them's Leon Bailey, and we haven't seen him in 6 months. And the other one's Daniel Marlon, and we don't see much of him, although he's had a good start in pre-season. So like everything's just there for those two to combine, right, from the get go. And their fixtures, as I say, the fixtures are so good for a decent period of time. So lock them in outside of you while they're not in Europe as well, or in particularly for the first 5 weeks. Just get them in. They'll be hitting the ground running. But yeah, Salah, Palmer, Anderson, Rodgers, Marmoush midfield, Watkins and Solanke up top. Solanke, again, Solanke and Marmoush could be Strand Larsen and Bruno Fernandes. The weird thing about that being that way around is someone just goes, "You built your team on review." That's basically it, right? Because Bruno and Strand Larsen is like review central.
It's mad, isn't it? When you get to pre-season, you're looking at this, and you're like, even now, I'm looking at this. We're going to go to mine in a minute, and there's only 3 differences in our starting 11. I don't know if you realise that, but that is as close as we've been ever. And immediately I'm like, oh, are we dull? Like, what's going on? Like, it makes you start getting a
Or are
bit,
you like, are you excited? Am I exciting?
yeah, am I loose and aggressive like you? At least our benches are different. We've got
Mate,
a
yeah,
completely
yeah.
different
Well,
bench.
Porro hasn't left my draft since day one, mate. So I'm claiming Porro as mine. He can stay there forever. Yeah, benches, Darlow, probably not Darlow, more likely Dubravka, just forgot to change him.
Yeah.
Steve, I've still got the Kuiper in there. Don't like the fixtures, but with Brighton bringing in these so rare gods like De Kuiper and Boscagli, I'm like, this feels like it could be exciting and fun at the back there. I didn't realise Boscagli was a free transfer as well.
Yeah.
Wild. Anybody who's played so rare knows that Boscagli was probably the most expensive defender in the game to buy at some point.
But by that basis, like, does Buscagli just like he does feel like, because of the all actionness about him, is that he could be like a defense contributions versus bonus monster.
He doesn't give a shit about defensive contribution, but he's just up the other end of the pitch scoring goals, creating stuff.
Oh yeah, doesn't get recoveries, does he?
He doesn't get recoveries, but he'll be at the other end of the pitch, mate. He'll be goal creating actions, all this sort of stuff. Nuts. And then Barnes is probably whatever, 4-5. And again, you're right. This is not set up for a bench boost, and a sacrifice would have to be made somewhere in here to make it bench boostable, if that's even a word.
And it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. Once you put these in, I just think it's really difficult for me to then go, oh, if I save $500,000 off Rodgers, I get it.
It's always Rodgers, though. In this format, it's always Rodgers, right?
Always bloody Rodgers that goes out, and I just keep thinking about that first column that we just showed, and I'm like, I almost need to write it down, just make sure. Have you ever seen Draft Day? The Kevin Costner film was incredible.
Absolutely zero chance. Why did you even ask the question?
I'm not going to ask you. For those that know, they'll know what I was about to talk about. I was talking about writing down, but we'll move on.
Your team?
My team. So I've still got Sales and goal. I've put Sales and goal since day one. I haven't changed off Sales. And I did a podcast at lunchtime with the Forest Focus guys, and so there was Matt, who is a real keen FPL player. They've got another guy that does the Forest Focus pod. He's quite keen on it. It's Mark Southerns, his name is. Never heard of him, but he wasn't on it. But there was another guy, Jake, who was 61st in the world, Forest fan.
By the way, I enjoy the fact that they wanted to talk FPL and they wanted to talk about Forest picks, and they picked you over Mark Southerns. I think
that tells you all. What I enjoyed was, we'll also talk about, if you go watch it, they'll ask me about defensive contributions. And I was thinking, this is quite funny. I'm on the pod here talking about defensive contributions. Well, can't you just get Mark to talk about it?
To be fair, that's probably because like 300,000 people on TikTok saw it. Like, it's like the most.
Yeah. Sells. They convinced me. I've been wavering on Murillo versus Williams, but they talked a lot about Nico Williams, and they talked about Murillo, and they talked about Anderson. And what they did talk about was the fact that obviously Doug Luiz they're quite strongly linked with. Now, that is something we do need to think about. If Deadly Doug comes back in, does he take all those set pieces that currently Williams, as people are saying, oh, there's some set pieces there, and does he take them off Anderson? And does he suddenly make Anderson play a bit deeper? That's the only thing. I do need to keep an eye on that over the next week and see, because if Deadly Doug comes back,
Anderson's going to go from an absolute must to like 1% owned.
1% owned. What's the point?
Just get Caicedo. Yeah. Just get Caicedo and move on.
But it also does make them better at set pieces. So therefore, that also leans into Murillo and Milenkovic.
True.
As the guys. So yeah, that definitely was. I thought it was a really good point out from them. But Murillo, they fancied Murillo might have had a little breakout as well on attacking returns, and I was like, okay, Murillo, you're back in. But I have got sexy. You've made me sexy, which is go the Pedro Porro over Virgil van Dijk. My keep for 38 game weeks. It's just in the Arsenal game, Tom Hadley, everyone's seen Tom Hadley stuff now. He's like everywhere, defensive contribution king of the world. But he did count that Pedro Porro got 11 in the game against Arsenal. I'm interested. Porro's hitting them. And we now know he's definitely going to get more set pieces. I fancy Odegaard to get the position over Tell, which means that Porro probably for at least 60, 70 minutes of the games will have all of them to himself. And you just feel like you're trying to do with Frimpong and Porro, and I'm trying to do with Murillo and Porro, is that there's a double digit in game week 1 for one of those guys. And also with Diouf, you feel like there is a potential double digit with all three of those guys at the back in game week 1. And I just love it. Now I've got Porro, Murillo, Diouf there. I'm like, it's probably, like you say, it probably is Frimpong if I was looking at someone that could be another guy that can spike it. I feel really comfortable with it.
If you want to get Frimpong in there, mate, you need to take out Rodgers.
That's the problem. I'm not taking out bloody Rodgers, and I'm not spending more on my bench to get him gone either. Salah, Palmer, Rodgers, Anderson, Wirtz in your Marmoush spot. He just was so electric the other night. I was like, I can't go about this guy. When you're like you can't watch Liverpool games if you haven't captained Salah. I was like, I think I'm just not going to be able to watch Liverpool games if I don't have Florian Wirtz, which is so ridiculous. Please, 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 Adam, if you haven't spent the time, go to spend time watching that game last night with Florian Wirtz.
Yeah. I mean, this is it as well for me. Is when you see players like that, and he's not on pens, right? Obviously, because Salah's there, albeit Salah missed a pen, didn't he? Which was interesting. But I always worry in the early part of their career at the club, maybe I'm just talking nonsense here, but you just know the very first pass he's going to make is to Kirkes, and then Kirkes is going to cross it to Salah, and you're going to go, well, that was great by Wirtz, but he's got me fuck all points for it.
I'll be honest, there was a few occasions last night where it was like, oh yeah, guess what, Gakpo scored, and it's like laid off, and he's done all the good work. There is that he's always there and about. He was always in the 6-yard box, but doesn't necessarily always get the ball. And like you say, there is something there. But I think the more that teams sit back, the more they'll just look for Wirtz. I keep thinking about what we were talking about with Trent, where it's like they look for Trent and just give him the ball, let him be the person that opens things up. I think Wirtz, I just think it will all roll for him. And I have no doubts whatsoever he will get an assist and get 2 bonus at some point in the season, like for doing so. We used to see with Kev. It just, and it wouldn't even surprise me if he hits some defensive contributions more regularly than we think, like 10 times in the season. It just, for me, it was like, I can't do it. Saying that, Marmoush turns up in the only friendly they've got and gets a hat trick, then I might join you. And then Watkins and Solanke, and definitely Solanke is the one that I'm like, I just don't know that I like it with Dom. I'm keeping him there. I imagine if I wasn't a Spurs fan right now, I'd already be making the move. I think Mateta is definitely on my mind for that Solanke position. Bowen is, but I've got to find the $500,000, and we know where we get that from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so that there is that. Where do I go? Wissa, we don't know. Thiago, God, it just feels a bit worrying. I'm just going to leave it with Dom until I see the reason to not leave it with Dom and be heartbroken when I have to.
I might, yeah. I mean, has anybody considered like just going one striker? Like as stupid as that sounds, and just taking Solanke down to like so talking to Ted earlier as well. I mean, we keep referencing Ted because we've literally just spoken to him, but it's. One of the transfers that he's really keen on is the Barry transfer at Everton. And if he's not ready for game week 1, then fine. But if you can park him on your bench and save 2 million and bump up elsewhere,
it's Strand Larson.
Or you can
put Fixtures after game week 1 is fantastic. Just stick Strand Larson on the bench, save £1 million, and then
but save 2.
But if you have $1 million, you just spend that on your defender and get yourself a good 4 with that 5. Because there's loads of the defenders that you can lean into in that space.
But that might be the bench boost way is to go like the Watkins, Strand Larson, and then the Guiu, possibly.
So my bench currently Dubravka, the cheapos Dubravka, Roden, Guiu. My 4.5 at the moment is Chris Richards. I'm trying to get myself warmed up to Chris Richards. I feel like I always just neglect him. Like my brain tells me he's like a rotation risk that he's not playing, but he's been playing every game. I don't know what my brain tells me that's what it is. I just think I think Lacroix and Gay the best two centre backs, so why would I want the third best centre back? But fact is but all his stuff's good, and he's going to play there, and he's going to play all season. So yeah, he's there. He rotates in really well with the rest of the guys that are there. Other guys in consideration: Senesi, Anderson at Fulham. Those are the guys I'm looking at. De Kuiper. Don't know why I just made him South African.
No idea. No idea.
But well, our structures are pretty similar.
They are quite similar. Not bad thing as I made mine about 5 minutes before the pod.
What have I been doing? Wasting time, tinkering around. You just turn up and just be like, oh, okay.
Like, oh look, same team.
8 of the 11.
Is what it is, mate. Is what it is. Right, so our next pod is going to be on Sunday, maybe? Sunday? Do we need to push it?
Old fire.
What's just happened?
Old fire. Oh. Sorry. I just saw in chat. I saw our friend Danny say, whoa, what was it? And it was in relation to a very attacking Forest team this evening in a friendly. So maybe I won't want Forest double clean sheets after that if his Nuno's going to get all sexy on him.
Oh, okay. We'll see.
We shall see.
We shall see. Well, when are we potting next? Sunday, maybe?
Looks like Sunday. Yeah, I'm away for a couple of days into this week for a wedding. So I'm definitely not around till weekend, and you're traveling down on Friday. So looks like Sunday.
Sunday. Guests not 100% confirmed. Going to be a combination of...
We can say we're done. Raptor will definitely be joining us. Ross will definitely be joining us. Harry might be joining us.
Harry might join us. What time is that Chelsea game? Because the reason he couldn't do Friday was because the Chelsea game was on. But obviously they've got two games in 48 hours. He just keeps going to Chelsea.
He's just a busy man.
Mate, he's just spent 3 weeks off.
Definitely got Ross. Might have Harry too.
Sounds good. Sounds good, mate. Always good to chat. Catch everyone later. Like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think of the drafts. Put your drafts down there and we will catch you later. Cheers, mate.